No witnesses?
Oh, shit.
This is the Weird Shit Podcast.
Is that a joint, man?
And I wouldn't flaunt your ignorance.
Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
So, The Last Jedi was, like, really dope.
Yeah.
But what I'm still wondering is, like, how did the Porgs manage to get that Star Destroyer out of the sky? Like, was it because they stacked, like, a pyramid, it, like, amplified it somehow, so they were able to, like, pull it better?
Porgs actually use the Force communally, so that they're all actually able to link together and, act as a super Porg.
See, that's what I thought when I saw that one turn into the, like, giant robot and, like, fight the wizard.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's also why Luke Skywalker and Han Solo are the same person.
Yeah, like, that threw me for a loop at first. But it makes sense if they're both Porgs.
Yeah. And also there's, like, that thing with the big nipples.
I remember that shit. Welcome to the Weird Shit Podcast. This is Mike.
Hey.
That was Palmer. This is Ryan.
And today it's that special time of year again. It's Star Wars time.
Star Wars!
And that means we're coming at you with some Christmas monsters.
Boom.
What does that have to do with Star Wars?
Because it's Christmas time.
Wampus.
But I was replacing Christmas time with Star Wars time because there are two things, and one of those two things means more to me than the other of the two things. Fucking dude, man. Oh, it was so perfect. He's like in the sky just screaming at people.
He's at like an 11, and you think that he can't go higher than an 11, and then he bumps it to like 14.
He's like 14, and you're like, man, 14, there's no way he's going higher than 14.
Boom, 238,000.
You're like, holy shit.
God damn, that shit's high. That shit's almost as high as Mike.
Almost. So, what kind of Christmas monsters do you know about, Palmer?
Santa.
Santa Claus?
He's a monster.
He is.
Krampus.
Krampus Claus.
Pretty sure Rudolph.
He's just an abomination against God.
That's true.
He's not,
Must be
he's
expunged.
not a monster. He's a mutant.
That's right. Suffer not.
Suffer not the witch to live.
Kill the mutant. Burn the heretic. Was Rudolph a heretic? Is that why they all hated him?
I mean, probably. Like, he was able to see through the fog.
Yeah, definitely heretical.
That seems like a heretical ability, because nobody else had that. So...
How did he get that?
He's ability? At least a low-level psyker.
Exactly.
Nothing else. So, the first one I have on here is none other than the motherfucking Krampus.
What?
Didn't we go over these already once?
No, I started making, like, a list of them last year, and we never got around to recording the episode.
Is Snips one of them?
Yes, Snips is definitely one of them.
Oh, okay, good.
I mean, like, he would have to be.
Meow.
So, in folklore, Krampus is a horned, anthropomorphic figure described as half goat, half demon, who during the Christmas season punishes children who have misbehaved. Basically, Krampus in Austria, Croatia, Bavaria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Tyrol, and parts of northern Italy will show up and beat the shit out of kids if they're bad.
It's basically all the best places.
Yeah, all the best places.
Nicest places to live.
He'll beat the shit out of the kids and shove them in either a wash tub or a cage that he carries on his back. And he hits them with sticks and then shoves them in that cage and takes them with him, where he either eats them.
Is he wearing a tracksuit?
He's actually pretty fucking terrifying looking. He's a goat person, so he's covered in fur, but then he has the fucking Gene Simmons tongue. So he's just hey kid, get in my sack. He's beating the shit out of every little German kid he sees.
Abductee says what?
What? What? He also has bells on him, so that's how you can hear him. And supposedly smells like candy.
Every time.
Wait, what's wrong with this guy?
He
seems alright to me.
He's basically the evil version of Santa Claus.
But you said he was like a goat, and he smells like candy.
Yeah, and he smells like candy.
Every time he wins a battle, he adds another bell.
To try to give his opponent an advantage next time. It's eventually I'll have enough bells that they'll be able to defeat me.
Cal Krampus.
There's a bunch of different variations of him, but the most common version is he's hairy, usually brown or black, and has the cloven hooves and horns of a goat. He has a long pointed tongue that hangs out, and he also has fangs. He carries chains to symbolize the binding of the devil by the Christian church, and he shakes the chains at people for dramatic effect.
It's pretty horrifying.
They're also sometimes accompanied by bells, the bells all over him and shit. He also carries a bundle of birch branches, which he uses to beat the shit out of kids. Sometimes in some versions of the story, he'll actually have a fucking whip instead.
Jeez.
Instead of the birch branches.
So who's Krampus's natural predator? Does he have one?
Santa Claus.
Oh.
Have to be.
Oh, shit. Nice.
That, I imagine them, anime fighting, in the, in the sky every Christmas.
Impossible. Nani?
How did his tongue deflect my blow?
You fool.
You should never have messed with Santa Claus.
That's speed.
Rudolph shoots a laser out of his nose. just tears out a chunk of Krampus.
Santa just teleports behind him.
Yeah. And then Krampus regrows the arm and then flips him over him. That's how I see it happening. He also has a sack or a basket on his back, which he uses to cart off evil children for drowning, eating, or transporting to hell.
Jesus Christ. I just imagine these parents telling their kids, alright, you better get along with your brother or Krampus will show up, jangle chains at you, rip your skin off, and then shove his dick down your throat. Whoa.
Whoa. They also put him on they put him on greeting cards and postcards, and they have festivals to him and shit now.
Oh, sweet.
So people will dress up
Is there Krampus Con?
Yeah, it's called Krampusnacht. And basically people will dress up as the Krampus and party in the streets.
Yeah, no.
And
absolutely not.
And start they'll whip at kids and stuff that are standing
I'm not
up
saying
for the
I
parade.
condone drone strikes, but if I were to pick a target for a drone strike, it would be that place.
How can you tell who is an actual demon and who is a Krampus?
You can't
do it. So the best choice is an orbital strike.
It's the only way to be sure.
That's the only way.
Exterminatus.
To exterminatus the whole fucking place. Because you don't want to take any chances that they might be... I mean, look at that shit.
Yeah.
He's got 4 eyes.
Yeah, no.
No, fuck that
fuck
noise.
That.
No.
He looks alright.
7 out of 10.
I'd suck his dick.
True.
His goat dick. So the next one I have on the list here is the Yule Cat, known as Yolakturin or Yolakotur.
Sounds made up.
Yolakoturin or Yolakatur. I have no idea how to pronounce Icelandic words, and I literally. So that's the best you're gonna get from me. Basically, the Yule Cat is a thing in Iceland, which is a.
Is it like, there's like Long Cat and Tagnall, and then there's Yule Cat?
Yeah, this is literally that. Yule Cat is a huge and vicious cat said to lurk in the snowy countryside during Christmas time and eat people who have not received any new clothes to wear before Christmas Eve. So he's like, that is so last year. And then, like, just picks you up and eats you because he's the size of a fucking house.
It just, like, does the deep panther growl as it, like,
He, like, fucking, like, literally eats you because he's the size of a house. He's the house pet of the giantess Grilla and her sons, the Yule Lads. And, like, let's see. The threat of being eaten by the Yule Cat was used by farmers as an incentive for their workers to finish processing the autumn wool before Christmas. Basically, it's like a thing in Iceland where, like, if you don't get socks before Christmas, the Yule Cat's gonna eat you.
Can you just gift yourself socks to work around it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're fine then.
Yeah, you just have to buy socks.
Yeah.
And you also gotta, like, give them to other people, things like that, to, like, stave off the Yule Cat's bloodlust.
Sounds like a conspiracy made by Hallmark, except it's made by Hanes
Yeah.
to sell socks.
Hanes and Starter got together and, like, made a time machine to go back to, like, 18th century Iceland and talk about a giant fucking cat that'll, like, eat you if you don't get socks.
I just imagine that the Yule Cat's harbinger is just this, like, old guy in a cloak, like, wandering around the countryside, like, you must buy new socks or the Yule Cat will devour you. And he just, like, accidentally drops his business card. It's like, wait a second, you work for Hanes. No, don't.
No.
That's your card. You
Don't pay attention to that card. Is this your card?
Just like...
It's like Starter.
He just, like, sprints out of there. Just cheeses it.
Fruit of the Loom. Damn it. Hang on. I got one around here somewhere. According to Icelandic tradition, anyone who finished their chores before Christmas would get new clothes as a reward. Meanwhile, lazy children who didn't get their work done would have to face the Jólakötturinn.
What happens if you face the Yule Cat and you survive? Do you become a Spartan?
So here's the thing with the Yule Cat. It towers above the tallest houses.
What the fuck?
So, the Yule Cat will literally, like, peer in, like, your third floor window and be like, hey, man, somebody buy you some motherfucking socks? You're like, yeah, dog, I got some socks. He's like, I'm not a dog, I'm a cat. Those are, like, old-ass socks. And then he eats you.
It's a big-ass fucking paw. Just, like, takes out your house.
Just, like, literally, like, pulls the fucking roof off your house.
No, he
you
does
didn't
that
get
cat thing
socks.
where he's just kind of like...
It just, like, pushes your house off a table. It's Iceland, so he just pushes it into a fjord. You're like, no.
Alright.
And he just looks at you and then pushes it on.
Alright, serious question. Who would win? The Yule Cat or a group of gnomes?
So here's the thing.
How many gnomes would it take to take out the Yule Cat? I'm thinking, like, maybe one, maybe two. I don't know.
I think
How big is the Yule Cat?
it is bigger than the tallest house.
Like, wait, in the world?
I guess it just says
Just
taller
in
than the
general.
tallest house, which I
What's
think
the
is,
tallest house?
I don't know. Google it. What is the
Hey-
world's tallest house?
Hey Siri, what is the world's tallest house?
The world's tallest artificial structure. That doesn't help.
It's like tallest.
124 feet tall.
So it's at least 125 feet tall. That's like Godzilla from the new Godzilla movie.
I just want to see the gnomes halo dropping.
We already established they can fly. They like halo drop and then like hit him with like 7 times the strength of a man. But it's 7 gnomes. So they just like all 7 of them like
They just Voltron together to just a slightly larger gnome.
Like the size of a small toddler.
Just punch a hole through its chest.
It'll also eat the kids. That's apparently what it does.
Just an as an afternote.
Yeah, as an afternote, it'll eat the fucking kids.
Oh god.
But also, I know you're asking yourself, you're like, man, this thing is fucking dope. You know, like, I bet people have written songs about it and how dope it is. You'd be right. And I happen to have one here by none other than Bjork.
And the Yule Cat?
That wrote a song about the Yule Cat.
Bjork has really let herself go.
Yeah. I'm just gonna play a snippet of it here. It literally sounds like a fucking Viking march for this fucking cat.
This is totally the song I would have playing for the gnomish halo drop.
Yes, just like slow it down to like half speed and put like a simplistic version of the piano behind it. It's like showing all their gnome families at home, like staring at pictures of them, and like their gnome wife with like a single tear like going down her face as the gnomes are like crossing themselves as they're like going in. Fucking perfect. So I told you the Yule Cat is supposedly the pet of the giantess Grilla, and Grilla
dropping a new fresh album next month.
The
member
giantess.
of the Wu-Tang Clan, the tallest member of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Coming in at 5'7" with the goat tail.
She's a giantess from Iceland who has the ability to detect children who are misbehaving year-round.
Oh, sorry. Coming in at 5 meters tall.
And during Christmas time, she leaves her cave and hunts for the children. She devours children as her favorite snack. Her favorite dish is a stew of naughty kids, for which she has an insatiable appetite.
Does she, like, hibernate in the summer?
I mean, she smells them all year just to work her appetite up. And then at Christmas, she comes out and eats them.
She needs to go see a doctor about that eating disorder.
According to folklore, she's been married 3 times. Her third husband, is said to be living with her in their cave in the Dimmu Borgir lava fields.
Nice.
With the big black Yule Cat and their sons. Fucking Dimmu Borgir. Yes. As Christmas approaches, Grilla sets off looking for naughty boys and girls. She's been in a bunch of like poems and shit too.
Dope.
She was also in an article by The Onion citing her as the cause of the 2010 eruptions of
Eruptions of what?
I cannot possibly pronounce that. EYJAFJALLA J-O with 2 dots over it. KULL. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay.
That's how I pronounced it.
Make sure.
She also, her story also features the Yule Goat, which is a giant fucking goat that
do they ever fight?
that just like hangs out in Iceland, I guess, mostly with like fucking like gnomes and shit. Is what the Yule Goat does.
Like a 3-way battle between the gnomes and the Yule Goat and the Yule Cat.
Yeah.
Leela Latch Lloyd was probably one of the first to see Santa before he entered the First National Bank that day in 1927. She had taken her brother downtown to see Santa Claus.
He walked up to Santa, and both of us shook hands with him. And Santa said, "Well, little man, what do you want?" He said, "I want that football. It's right over there in that window because I'm going to make football playing my career." So he tried to pull Santa over there, and he said, "No, I have to stay here. This is my post. But I see the football, and I'll guarantee you that Santa Claus or Big Sister or Mother and Dad will get that for you." So we walked on with that.
It was a usual December 23rd in Cisco. The kids were out of school for Christmas, shoppers were madly getting their last-minute presents, and Santa was on the street. What made today different was when he entered the First National Bank.
He pulled a gun and said,
"This here's a holdup."
Santa's 3 helpers also pulled their guns.
A woman and her daughter were able to escape out the back door. Once out, she began screaming,
"They're robbing the First National Bank!" Police Chief Bitt Bedford told his officers to move to the rear of the alley behind the bank. While he covered it from the front, inside, Santa was filling a sack with money.
The robbers then burst out the back door, pushing hostages as they came. Shots were fired from all directions.
Some of the hostages escaped, but 2 little girls were instructed by the bandits to stay with them. They jumped into the getaway car and headed south on Main Street.
Jasper Cook was in the 7th grade when the Santa Claus Bank robbery occurred, but he remembers it like it was yesterday.
They were still going into the hardware store and grabbing guns out of the racks or out from the showcases or wherever and grabbing ammunition for them and hanging on the cars. We had running boards in those days on the cars, and carloads of them were headed south down Main Street, and of course you could still hear shooting.
The police chief had been shot in the chest. A second policeman was hit in the head. One of the robbers was wounded fatally.
Once out of town, the robbers realized they were almost out of gas. They tried to steal another vehicle, but failed. In the process, they left the stolen money behind and their wounded comrade. He was later taken to the hospital.
They had this fellow in a room. Through the window, you could see him from the front, like a little porch they had on that old hospital. And it was just a constant line. It reminded me of a funeral procession looking at, the remains of someone in a casket. But they looked through the window at him. We all marched through there and saw him. And that's something that's stuck with me all these years.
The Santa Claus caper had inflicted gunshot wounds in 2 police officers, 2 hostages, 4 posse members, 2 bystanders, and 3 robbers.
O.L. Stamey had been in the bank 40 minutes before the robbery. He says many of the killings were senseless, but that was the way they handled things in those days. Just stop whatever started, any way you could.
Chief Bedford came in at that end of the alley, and Carmichael came in at that end of the alley. And if they'd just gotten on top of this building right here, they could have picked them off probably one at a time as they came out of the bank. But then these bank robbers came out there shooting, and of course, Bedford was a big man. He couldn't miss him. Carmichael was a big man, and they made good targets, and that's the reason they got killed.
The robbers dumped their 2 hostages and their gasless Buick and headed for the woods.
It took days, but all 3 of the remaining robbers were eventually captured. One of the robbers was sentenced to death. Another got 99 years.
And Santa, later identified as Marshall Ratliff, was sentenced to 99 years also because they couldn't prove he had personally killed anybody.
While he was waiting to be moved from the Eastland County Jail to the state penitentiary, he tried to escape. He was captured and then hanged by an angry mob from a light pole near the courthouse square.
So, the Yule Lads, the Yuletide Lads, or the Yule Men, or in Icelandic, the Jólasveinarir.
Please tell me they're a barbershop.
Jólasveinar.
Please tell me they're a barbershop quartet. But they're all giant.
So, there are 13 of them. And they are apparently, they look like Santa Claus. They're like 13 little, like, Santa Claus dudes. Currently, there's 13 anyway. And basically, they're like pranksters. Like, their description ranges from those of pranksters to homicidal monsters who eat children.
Okay, wait.
Which is the best prank you could possibly pull, is eating someone's fucking kid.
It is true. That is a hilarious prank. It's the First prank they teach you in prank school.
It's the YouTube pranksters of classic monsters. They like eat your kid and they're like, it's just a prank, bro.
You come home one day, all your kids are dead. And it's like all that's left is their shoes.
Written in blood on the wall, just a prank.
Yeah, it's just a prank, bro.
Apparently, every night, one Yuletide lad visits each child, leaving gifts of rotting potatoes. They put rewards or punishments into shoes placed by children on windowsills during the last 13 nights before Christmas. Every night, one Yuletide lad visits each child, leaving gifts of rotting potatoes, depending on the child's behavior throughout the year. The Yuletide Lads are portrayed as being mischievous or even criminal pranksters who would steal from or otherwise harass the population. They have descriptive names that convey their modus operandi.
M.O.?
Recently, they've been taking on a more benevolent role, as far as in modern culture, they're more seen as a positive thing. And they're the sons of Grilla, the giantess, and her husband Lepaludi. They also hang out with the Yule Cat.
Just chill out.
Yeah, they chill out with the Yule Cat too. The Yuletide Lads are said to come to town during the last 13 nights before Christmas.
It'd suck if the Yule Cat jumped in your lap and started kneading you.
The official names and translations and what they do are as follows. The first Yuletide lad, his name is Stekjarstar, or Sheepcoat Claude. Basically, he runs around and harasses sheep, but he has peg legs. He's got 2 peg legs and he harasses you sheep. There's also Giljagar, or Gully Gawk, who hides in gullies, waiting for an opportunity to sneak into the cowshed and steal milk.
Giljagar?
Yeah, Giljagar.
Giljagar.
I have no idea how to pronounce it, because it's Icelandic, and our Icelandic listeners are pissed. If we have any. I think we have a couple in Iceland last time I checked. To whom I apologize.
My bad.
My bad. There's also Stuffer, or Stubby, who's shorter than the other ones, and he steals pans and eats the crust left on them. So he steals your dirty dishes.
Damn it, Stubby!
And eats the stuff off of them. There's a Spoon Licker, who literally steals your spoons and starts licking your spoons. And he's extremely thin due to malnutrition.
Because all his nutrition just comes from spoon remnants.
There's Pot Scraper, who steals the leftovers from your pots. Better not be stealing my pot. I can tell you that.
Kill motherfucking Yule prankster.
I'm from the streets.
He keeps it real.
There's Bowl Licker. Guess what Bowl Licker does?
Lick some balls.
He hides under beds waiting for someone to put down their bowl, which he then steals. There's Door Slammer.
What's easier?
He
steals bowls.
Yeah, he steals bowls.
He eats the crust left on your door frame.
He's very thin due to malnutrition. He's the New Orleans Axeman.
He slams doors.
That's who he is. Door slammer. Apparently he slams doors.
Okay.
Especially at night.
So as to make a mild commotion.
There's also Skewer Gobbler.
Wait. Does he gobble skiers?
Apparently. And
No, he has an affinity for skyr.
Skyr is an Icelandic cultured dairy product. It has the consistency of strained yogurt, but a much milder flavor. And apparently it's like Greek yogurt, but it's classified as a cheese.
I don't know about that.
So the dude likes cheese, I guess. I don't know. So
can you guys send us some of that? You Icelandic listeners?
That sounds fucking dope.
Send me some skyr.
I'd try it. I'm
a
down for
cheese
any of that shit.
enthusiast.
We really need to get like a P.O. box so people can send us stuff if they
I
want.
don't think I want cheese from a P.O. box.
Well, I mean, I don't think you want people sending packages to the house.
Yeah.
Could they just ship us a fridge with
all sorts of Icelandic goodies in it? Just like drop it somewhere and send us the GPS coordinates. And if it's within like 2 miles of the house, we'll go get it.
We're not gonna tell you where the house is though, so good luck.
Yeah, so you gotta figure that part out. If it's the CIA, you guys already know. So we don't even have to tell you.
Send us that Gucci Icelandic shit.
That's what it was called, right? Gucci? Gucci Gobbler was his name? So there's also Sausage Swiper.
Wait, okay.
He comes through the night and gives everybody hand jobs. The sausage swiper.
I was thinking that maybe he likes to do your shopping for you, but when he tries to swipe your credit card, it's all he has.
Sausage.
Just imagine
He's
Frank.
trying to cram a sausage in the chip
No,
slot.
it's like Frank. It's like Frank from It's Always Sunny with the sausage in his upper pocket, and he reaches for that instead of a credit card, and then tries to swipe it.
The cashier is just like, "Sir, is that a chip sausage?" You gotta put it in the chip slot, sir.
The sausage won't swipe. Just put it in a plastic bag and try it again.
Oh my god, I'm
the
reading.
sausage has plenty of money on it. I don't understand why it's not working.
The next name, well, the one after the next name is probably
Oh
the
yeah,
best
they're
one.
gonna be good. So a sausage swiper hides in the rafters and snatches sausages that are being smoked. There's window peeper.
He's in jail.
Also known as Dennis Rader. He's a snoop who would look through windows in search of things to steal. Doorway sniffer. He has an abnormally large nose and an acute sense of smell, which he uses to locate Laufa Brew, which sounds like it's probably a beer, but I'm gonna click the link anyway.
Looks like it's
leaf
small
bread.
kids.
It is bread.
I smell bread.
Comes from northern Iceland. Consists of round, very thin, flat cakes with a diameter of blah blah blah, decorated with a leaf-like geometric patterns and fried. Fried bread. That sounds fucking dope.
I'll try
I like
it.
that shit.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just a tortilla.
I mean, yeah, except Icelandic. This is pretty dope. So then there is Meat Hook, who uses a hook to steal meat. And also Candle Stealer.
Okay. Candle stealer.
Who follows children in order to steal their candles.
If I had to pick one to be, I'm gonna go with Meat Hook.
Meat Hook.
Or Stubby.
So if I was going to be one, I'd probably go with a Sheepcoat Claude, because he's got peg legs and he just chases sheep all the time, and that sounds like a lot of fun.
I think I like Stubby the best. Short, eats crust off of pans.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm torn between doorway sniffer and sausage swiper.
Man, this doorway smells dope. And all he does is steal fried bread for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though he sniffs your doors.
He's not one of the ones suffering from malnutrition.
Nah, you know he good. He's stocking up on carbs.
That's right.
He's carb loading for next
Carb
Christmas. So the next creature I have here is Perked, a.k.a. Berkta, a.k.a. Perked.
Is this like a rapper?
She's a goddess of Alpine paganism in Upper Germany and Austria. Her name means the Bright One, and is probably related to Berchtentag, meaning the Feast of the Epiphany.
She sounds dumb.
So apparently what she do is she's the upholder of cultural taboos, such as prohibition against spinning on holidays.
Wait.
Hold on. What is that?
Spinning?
No, there's like the whole prohibition against spinning on holidays.
So like
you can't spin.
Yeah, so like she's like, if she catches you spinning, she's gonna eat you. You better not be spinning on a holiday.
What if you're like 360 no scoping someone? Does that count as a spin?
Yeah, you get eaten.
Yeah, you probably get eaten for that.
What if you step on a banana peel and you like
and you like accidentally start spinning?
Just eat you immediately.
You just gotta stop yourself from spinning all the way. If you like turn instead, like if you stop it halfway through, that's a turn. And that's different than a spin.
And you're good.
But if it makes you go all the way around, then that's a spin. So
shit, you gotta watch out from the banana peels.
You gotta use those reflexes to keep from spinning.
That means that you can't practice your ice skating or your ballerina.
Basically, she's said to roam the countryside in midwinter, and she like kicks in your door during the 12 days between Christmas and Epiphany, which is the 12th night. And she knows whether the children and young servants of the household have behaved well and worked hard all year.
Or have been spinning.
If they do, they'll find a small silver coin the next day in a shoe or a pail. If they don't, she'd slit their fucking bellies open, remove stomach and guts, and stuff the hole with straw and pebbles. She's like, have you been sweeping the kitchen right? No? And then she fucking Rambos you. Rambos you and stuffs you full of fucking dirt and rocks. Fucking,
as a warning.
She was particularly concerned to see that girls had spun the whole of their allotted portion of flax or wool during the year. She'd also slit people's bellies open and stuff them with straw if they ate something on the night of her feast day other than the traditional meal of fish and gruel.
Seems reasonable.
She's like, gruel ain't good enough for you? You too good for my gruel?
Can't even look at you.
And then she cuts you open.
Snip, snip.
Okay, the next one I have here is Belsnickel, also, a.k.a. Belsnickel, a.k.a. Belsnickel, a.k.a. Belsnickel, Pelsnickel, and Pelsnickel. From the German Pelsen, meaning to wallop, and nickel being a hypochorism of the given name Nicholas. He's a crotchety, fur-clad gift-bringer in the folklore of the Palatinate region of southwestern Germany along the Rhine, the Saarland, and the Odenwald area of Baden-Württemberg.
Yes, Baden-Württemberg.
They also have him in, like, Dutch community, like Pennsylvania.
I'm pretty sure
Dutch
he was in
communities.
The Office.
Oh, yeah?
That one episode of The Office with Dwight. And he was like, Belsnickel.
Yeah,
and he was telling him all the kids about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true. I haven't seen The Office.
It says it right there.
Oh, well, okay.
But I realized it beforehand when I saw the picture.
Oh, he dressed as Belsnickel. Good, that sounds interesting. The Belsnickel character,
I just saw Pennsylvania Dutch and I went, yeah, okay, that's it.
Traditionally, he visits prior to Christmas to check up on the behavior of children. Typically, he shows up 1 to 2 weeks before Christmas and scared the kids because he always knew exactly which of the kids misbehaved. He'd rap on the door or window with his stick, and children would have to answer a question for him or sing some type of song. In exchange, he would toss candles onto the floor. If the children jumped too quick for the treats, they may end up getting struck with Belsnickel's switch. Oh, toss candies onto the floor. Okay, I read it as candles. I was like, this guy's a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to set your house on fire.
You've been good this year. Try again next year.
I give you the gift of incineration. Like, sets your
Give you
house
the gift
on
of
fire.
a quick death.
Thanks, Belsnickel.
I am a nihilist. I believe in nothing. I am Belsnickel. I will burn your fucking home. He's also in, like, Indiana Dutch communities as well. He was known as Chris Kinkle, Belsnickel, and sometimes as the Christmas Woman. He'd, like, hit bad kids with the switch, give good ones candy, and the kids were supposed to not wince to show that they had had proper discipline. So that's probably fine. The next one I have here is Hanstrap.
Like Han Solo?
Han Solo. Hanstrap is a boogeyman from the Alsace and Lorraine regions of France. Basically, he follows around Santa so that he can beat the shit out of, like, the bad kids. Whenever Santa, like, gives the good kids presents, Hans, like, beats the shit out of the kids instead. When it's getting towards Christmas, the parents will be like, Hanstrap is coming. And everybody knows, like, what that means. It's just that this dude's gonna show up.
You going to jail now?
According to legend, like, in the 15th century, there was, like, a rich, like, powerful dude who lived in Alsace, France, named Hanstrap. And everybody knew him to be vain, cunning, heartless, and cruel. His life was given over to lawlessness and debauchery, and his only goal was to enrich himself by all means necessary. It was said that he worshipped Satan and used black magic and occult rituals to obtain his wealth and hold on to his power. When the Catholic Church became aware of his misdeeds, Hanstrap was arrested and brought before the Pope in Rome. They excommunicated him, and then when he returned to Alsace, he was ostracized. Everyone fled from him as if he was a wild beast.
Well, yeah, of course they ran from him from like he was a beast. They turned him into an ostrich. They said they ostriches did.
Some sort of big-ass man pigeon.
Oh, shit. The Pope turned that dude into an ostrich.
Holy shit, the Pope is a witch. How do we process this? No,
Fire.
It was a miracle.
It was the power of Christ.
It was a miracle. It wasn't witchcraft.
It was Godcraft.
Godcraft. It was Minecraft. It's Minecraft
I'm
because
gonna break this table by punching it.
Because, like, Germany or something.
Minecraft.
Basically, because he was excommunicated, they also took all his money and his land was confiscated.
When you say
he was left penniless.
You said they excommunicated him? Is that like he can't talk anymore?
Yeah.
He's
They
now
cut his
mute?
tongue out.
And got rid of his internet.
Damn.
Same.
Basically, he was forced into exile in the forest and isolated himself from the rest of society.
That's because he's a mute ostrich.
He made a house on a mountain and built himself a shack made of sticks. Where he slowly went crazy and spent his days brooding and dreaming of revenge. And so, like, now he was obsessed with the desire to bite into the flesh of a human arm, leg, or thigh. And he roams the countryside and disguises himself as a scarecrow by stuffing his ragged clothes with straw. And he'll like, lay in wait in hayfields, like, waiting for, like, kids to come by. Like, naughty kids to come by so he can eat them.
Plays the long game.
Hey.
Well,
just driving past the hayfield.
He'll pop out and attack them with a sharpened stick, and then, like, drag them back to his shack while they're dying before roasting them on an open fire.
Jesus.
That's apparently his thing, which is kind of terrifying. And the next one I have here is the Luud, which is from South Wales. Basically, what the Luud is this thing is, let's see.
Well, clearly it's a cow skull.
It'll show up at your house, where it will then challenge you to a fucking rap battle.
Hell yeah.
It consists of a horse's skull decorated with ribbons. Let's see.
Is it just like a floating skull that challenges you to a rap battle?
Yeah, it's a horse skull that like shows up at your house and challenges you to a rap battle.
That's amazing.
It says you have to defeat it with a song of rhymes and insults, like trading rhyming insults,
Mom,
which
spaghetti.
is a rap battle.
Spaghetti on my sweater already.
Bitch, you so skinny, you look like a skeleton.
Yo, like, I'm a horse, and you're not a horse, so I'm better than you. Wiki.
Nice teeth.
3 + 1, that's 4.
Quick mouse.
Quick mouse.
Scrap. Brat.
2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
Man's not hot.
Man's not hot.
Horse not hot.
So the next one I have here is Befana. And Befana is from Italy.
I've heard of this.
She's an old woman who delivers gifts to children on Epiphany Eve, or the night of January 5th.
Oh, maybe not. I thought it was like that song, Banana Fana Bofana.
She fills their socks with bananas.
That's definitely what this is.
If they're good. Or a lump of coal or dark candy if they're bad.
Wait, dark candy if I'm bad?
Yeah.
Like licorice?
Maybe. Or chocolate.
I guess I'm bad.
Or poop.
I'm bad. Yeah, dark candy might be a euphemism. It could be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just went banana, Befana. We'll call it Befana.
Just fill your socks with.
Well, I made up the thing about bananas. You said bananas, so I was like
banana.
I was like,
she just fills up your socks with Fanta.
Watch your Befana.
Watch your profanity.
Watch your profanity.
It's only games. Why you
attacking my feet, motherfucker? Stop attacking my foot. So, the child's family typically leaves a small glass of wine and a plate with a few morsels of food, often regional or local, for her. She's usually portrayed as a hag riding a broomstick through the air, wearing a black shawl and covered in soot, because she comes in the house through the chimney.
Same.
She's often smiling and carries a bag or hamper filled with candy, gifts, or both. She's also called the Christmas Witch. Christian legend has it that she was approached by the Magi, or the 3 wise men, or the 3 kings, and a few days before the birth of baby Jesus. They asked for directions to where the Son of God was, as they'd seen his star in the sky, but she was like, I don't fucking know.
He right over there.
She like, I don't know where he is. But she was like, you know what though? You can like come in for a night, like, and it'll be cool. Don't worry about it. Because she was considered the best housekeeper in the village with the most pleasant home. The Magi were like, yo, you pretty dope. You want to come see Jesus with us? And she's like, nah. I'm too busy. I got a lot of housework. Later, she had a change of heart and tried to find the astrologers and Jesus, but she wasn't able to find them. So to this day, La Befana is searching for the little baby. She leaves all the good children toys and candy, or which is typically caramels or fruit. While the bad kids get coal, onions, or garlic. But I would rather have the onions and garlic, honestly.
If I ran into this bitch, I would just say, baby Jesus dead.
Oh, you late, girl.
He'll be back.
He'll be back, though. He'll be back, though. He stepped out for a minute.
He died like 2,000 years ago, girl.
He'll be back, though.
He's been dead for hundreds and hundreds of years.
You'll see it on the news when he comes back, I'm sure. Don't worry.
If you see her, you'll get a thump from her broomstick because she doesn't want you to see her. She'll be like,
what?
She'll be like, don't look at me. What?
What if you're like too far away for her broom?
Basically, like it was probably to keep kids in bed, which is why they said that.
So So I would imagine that you told this story to your kids as a parent, and then you just sat in a chair in the hallway.
And
when they went to come outside, you're like, no, fuck. And they're like, oh, Befan's real. Oh, no.
She's real.
And then they wouldn't be able to get to sleep because they think this this witch is real, so they're gonna like be too scared to sleep.
You set up like a trip trap so that like they like open their door and like just a broom just whack them in the face.
Whack. Oh shit! Befana is real.
Watch your banana fantasy.
Watch your Befana.
Watch your profanity. The last ones I have here are the Nisei.
The what?
The Nisei, also known as the Tomten, also known as motherfucking a type of gnome.
Yeah.
So the Tomte are basically like they're a Swedish, Danish, or Norwegian kind of gnome. They like show up at people's houses on Christmas Eve and like hand out presents. They deliver gifts at the door like Santa normally would, and then they like they're usually riding on a pig or like taking a pig with them somewhere, and they're also guardians of the farmstead. Typically, you want to be on their good side. You gotta leave them porridge or butter.
What's porridge?
Porridge is like it's kind of like oatmeal, isn't it? Isn't it like an oatmeal type thing?
I think so. Yeah.
Let's see. Porridge is specifically food made by boiling ground, crushed, or chopped starchy plants, typically grain, in water or milk.
That looks disgusting.
It's often cooked or served with flavorings such as sugar, honey, syrup, etc.
So oatmeal is a type of porridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bowl of oat porridge,
Yeah,
so that's
like porridge.
oatmeal.
Oatmeal's gross.
I love oatmeal.
I like oats, but I don't like oatmeal.
I like oatmeal if you make it with milk. I don't like it with water. With water, it's gross.
I just don't like oatmeal.
Oatmeal with some brown sugar.
Or that banana bread oatmeal. Shit is dope.
Yeah, but see, that's banana bread.
But it's banana bread flavored oatmeal. It's still oatmeal. It just tastes like stuff. If you don't put anything in it, oatmeal's gonna taste gross because it doesn't taste like anything. You gotta put stuff in it.
No, it's just gross.
So, basically, they started out looking like gnomes, and over time they've grown to look more and more like Santa Claus, until, like, now they're, like, pretty much almost indiscernible from him.
Or Santa Claus looks like a large gnome.
Basically, despite his small size, the Nisei has immense strength. He's easily offended by a careless lack of proper respect, and also by lazy farmers. His retribution for bad practices range from small pranks like a hard strike to the ear when he's got 7 times the strength of a man, to more severe punishment like killing your fucking livestock or ruining your fortune.
Hey, you grow some cauliflower? No? You do now! Whack! Right in the ear. Boom, cauliflower ear.
Like, back in the day, if anyone spilled something on the floor in the house, it was considered proper to shout a warning to the Tante below. So you gotta be like, look out, gnome!
My bad.
Drop that shit.
My bad, gnomes.
You guys want ants?
This is how we get ants.
This is how you get ants.
Italians celebrate the festival of Le Befana, where a mystical old lady on a magic broom flies down chimneys and gives presents to children. The good ones get candy and the naughty ones get a lump of coal. Let's go to our correspondent in Rome.
An old lady flying on a broom comes down the chimney on the night of January 6th and fills the socks hung up by children. The good ones get sweets, the naughty ones get coal. And the day after, the festival of La Befana is celebrated in Italy.
She flies on her magic broom across the starry skies, also those of Rome, and brings children good and not so good things. Because the children have to learn to be good and approach the world with kindness. If they behave badly, La Befana will bring them coal. It is the story of the Magi replaced with La Befana. It is a celebration of expectation and receiving a gift. It is a great rebirth for everyone in the heart.
A week before the festival, children try to be good. They go to bed early and prepare a woolen sock attached to the chimney. The day of the feast, the children are very happy and pleased with the gifts received.
Sweets, because even if we were a bit naughty, certainly with my brother Eduardo, we managed to resolve many of our differences.
In times of great poverty, the figure of La Befana assumed a national character, where institutions or employers gave out packages containing basic necessities and toys to families in need. NTD News, Rome, Italy.
So, something I forgot to mention, it's probably not super important, but the Tante, or the Nisei, apparently they're fucking poisonous.
Oh, shit.
They'll fucking, they could drive people crazy or, bite them, and when they bite them, it's, super poisonous, and you need otherworldly hearing. Basically, what would happen is, you would wither and die before a doctor could get there.
What is otherworldly hearing?
Healing. Otherworldly healing.
What's that?
You probably need a necromancer. Need somebody who could be like, yep, that looks like you got bit by a gnome. I'll get that patched up. And then, give you the gnome antidote. So, what's your favorite one, Palmer?
Banana.
Do you like banana best?
I like banana.
What about you, Ryan?
Yule Cat, 100%.
Yule Cat, 100%. Mine is the rapping horse. I think that's really fucking funny. Having a zombie horse show up at your door and challenge you to a rap battle is just so fucking funny to me. But I have this story here from one of our listeners. His name is Jerkin.
Jerkin?
Jerkin.
Thanks, Jerkin.
Thanks, Jerkin. This shit is this is a pretty intense story. So it is as follows. It says, okay, so I was at Fishtopia in KCMO picking up some ghost shrimp. This is on Vivian and Brighton for locals. After I get the dank-ass shrimp guys, I'm at the gas station across the street when a guy that looks like a fat David Berkowitz pulls up in a white 2012-2015 Lexus RX 350 with Nebraska state license plate frames. Didn't get the number. I had just finished wasting the Lexus dealership's time test driving cars. This guy comes over and starts talking about my bike because it's an old 1984 Honda Sabre. Oh man, is this the Sabre 750? I had an Interceptor 750 back in the day. Oh man, is this the 1100? These are such cool bikes. I want to get one again, but he says the guy drops all emotion from his face, total shark eyes, leans into my neck and takes a deep sniff and growls out, "You smell divine."
Vampire.
I'm 5'3". He was probably 6'2". Not a casual move. So you know how young guys like to psych ourselves up about how we beat someone down if they did something like that? Nah. I just smiled and nodded. Put my gloves on. So the guy jumps back in his car as I pull out of the lot. So I turn right on the shoulder, one illegal act, where there's two cars blocking him from turning and haul ass. Two illegal acts. Down the 2-lane section of Brighton. Get to the single lane part that gets real windy and hilly, and he catches up to me. So I start getting a bit more aggressive because I'm scared at this point. Yeah, you fucking should be fucking scared, dude. Holy shit.
So this guy's running alongside his car?
Yeah, the guy starts chasing him in his car. This guy is chasing his motorcycle with his car.
Oh, I thought he was on foot.
He's like werewolf speeds. It's a fucking gnome. They can run at 30 miles an hour. You just got to get 2 of them, and then they can run at 60. That's how it works. Quick maths. So he's like, so I start getting a bit more aggressive because I'm scared at this point. The possibility of it being a prank seems small by now. Yeah.
It's just a prank, bro.
I'm just pranking you.
You smell so good, though. Real shit.
We should talk. So I pass a car going down a hill.
Me.
3 illegal acts. And blow a stop sign. 4 illegal acts. Because I assumed, due to the nature of the road, he wouldn't be able to do the same maneuver in an SUV. The guy does the same and catches up. By this point, I'm doing 65 and a 35 with 20 mile per hour turns. So I pass a car right before the apex of a series of turns where you have no visibility and no room to pass, knowing he won't have line of sight by the time he gets to overtake the car. But coming out of the turn, I can see him in my mirrors. The guy passed in a blind turn in the middle of an apex. Formula 1 drivers don't do this. MotoGP drivers don't do this. This is just not done because it's so fucking stupid. So I take the 152 highway and run about 85 to 100 miles an hour, weaving around traffic, passing between cars, passing on the shoulder, etc., and he keeps up with me. Anybody local will know what this area looks like during rush hour, and what I did was incredibly stupid and dangerous and should not ever be done on public roads. This is fucking... I'm on the fucking edge of my seat. This is some scary shit. Unless you're being chased by someone who wants to wear your skin as a suit and jack off in it.
How is this guy running so fast?
So, let's see. Wear your skin as a suit and jack off in it. Wear your seatbelt, wear all your gear, check your mirrors, use your turn signal, and don't speed too much. But I take the 169 exit and carry on at a normal person speeds and basically pretend like I don't see him following anymore, since he's keeping his distance a little bit. Now we have this exit lane that's about 3 miles long and nearly perfectly flat and straight, and rejoins the main highway at the end of it. So I wait until the last possible second and jerk the bike into that lane, hoping he's just a dickhead driver and not actually chasing me. He does the same. I have this moment where I very clearly think, fuck it. I've been riding my entire life, but I haven't been smelling divine for very long. I'll take my chances. And I downshifted and grabbed a handful of zoom and held it wide fucking open through 3 gears down all 3 miles. I'm tucked all the way down and can't use my mirrors, and I'm not using my speedometer. When I reach the end of the lane, I glance down before merging, max out the speedometer past the 160 mile an hour mark. As it slowed down to about 120 on the main highway, I could sit up more and see out of my mirrors, and could see him going full out in his SUV merging, until I'm in town, where I take the absolute most roundabout way back to my place possible. At one point, crossing back through town the opposite way, I could see the rear of his car going away. Dude was actively searching for me, driving around town looking for me after like 10 minutes. I got home, stashed the bike, and take a different bike and different gear for the next month or so. The KCPD didn't seem interested or had any sort of policy for this kind of thing. Granted, I admitted how hard I tried to lose him. Haven't seen anything else since then, but they do suspect a serial killer in the KC area about 20 minutes from here. Easily a gas station on his way home from work at that point. And during the whole thing, I had these ghost shrimp in my saddlebags. I have shrimp that hold the land speed record for shrimp. Since mid-February, probably 28 degrees or so. Not a single one died. So go check out Fishtopia. Their shrimp are fucking dope. That was really good.
That was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was fucking riveted that whole time. He also says, P.S. Keep your bong in the refrigerator. Ice in the stem has nothing on that. I'm gonna have to start doing that shit. Sounds like a good plan. I used to have one that had like the ice catcher built into the stem. That was so fucking dope. But now I don't. So, yeah, that's it for this week. Guys, keep sending us your stories. These have been great. I love the fact that we've been able to do one 2 weeks in a row now. That's fucking cool. Send us your emails to weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know any topics you guys want us to cover, anything like that. We hope you guys have happy holidays. Spend some time with family, or at least people that don't piss you off. Like, have some good food, good company, all that shit. And you guys got any shout-outs this week?
Condensed milk.
Condensed milk. It's pretty good in coffee. Ryan, you got a shout-out?
My shout-out this week is to the video. Search for song on YouTube. It's got 4 H's.
It's fucking incredible.
AHHHH song.
Do yourself a favor. It's beautiful. My shout out this week is to Moon Pies.
What?
Because I was like reading their Twitter, and their Twitter is fucking hilarious. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of want a moon pie. And so they got me. They hypnotized me into buying a moon pie. So, yeah, that's it for us this week.
It's 5 H's.
It's 5 H's.
I thought it was 4.
A with 5 H's. And we'll see you guys next week.
It's 5 H's.
Yeah, so it is.
Wait, play a little bit. So thank you guys. We'll see y'all next week. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Man, that episode was dope. You know what else would be dope? If you guys told us your paranormal stories. I know some of you have seen ghosts, some of you have seen fucking UFOs, some of you have seen Bigfoot. If you write into us, we have an email. It is weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. We really want to read you guys' emails. If you want to just give us a shout out, you can give us a shout out. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to record a voice message, I want to start putting voice shout outs at the beginning of every episode now. So if you send us those, that would be fucking dope. We have the Google Voice number. If you'd rather call up and leave us a voicemail, you can tell us your story that way. Send us some positivity, man. Keep the positivity coming. It's the number for that is 919-346-3071. That's 919-346-3071. We also have a Facebook group, the Weird Shit Podcast official Facebook group. We're on there all the time. We're posting memes. We want to talk to you guys. Fucking tweet at us. Fucking Facebook us. Fucking email us, man, because we love to hear from you, and we want to keep doing this forever.
Hello, my darlings. I'm Sammy, the host of Encrypted. Every 2 weeks, I will bring you stories of mystery, true crime, and creepy. You can find me on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Do you have a story? I would love to hear it. You can go to the Encrypted Podcast discussion group on Facebook. On Twitter, you can find us at EncryptedPod, or you can go to accproductions.org/encrypted. Don't forget to lock your doors and hold tight to your flashlight.
Hey guys, I'm Nick.
And I'm Joe. And we are the Fringe Boys.
The hosts of Cast into the Fringe, a weekly dive into time travel,
aliens,
conspiracies,
nerdy virgins,
and many other strange things the government doesn't want you to know.
Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Cast into the Fringe.
And check out our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud.
Hi, this is Jim.
And this is Annabelle.
Together, we bring you the Forgotten News Podcast.
We tell true stories from long ago. Stories from before you were born. Stories that made headlines for a week or a month, then vanished, just as suddenly. We look for these long-lost stories, then brush off the dust and share them with you, as fresh as the day they were first told.
One thing we definitely promise you, the stories you will hear will always be a surprise, and it will be a true story.
It might be a crime story. It might be a strange or spooky story. It might be a funny story.
If you are someone who might like to hear lost stories like these, then you should definitely listen to the Forgotten News Podcast.
The Forgotten News Podcast is available on iTunes, also known as Apple Podcasts, as well as Google Play, Podbay, Player FM, and nearly every app for listening to podcasts.
I don't know what else to say, except be sure to listen to the Forgotten News Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Steven.
And this is Chris.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Is This Adulting?
Every week, we're going to sit down to have a discussion about life, culture, our own mental health struggles, and just about anything you can think of.
Have you ever wondered which breakfast cereal's the best?
Or how to help your friends who are dealing with mental illness?
Or why waterbeds were a thing?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, then have we got a show for you.
And remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know. They might just be starting a podcast.
Oh, hey there. I didn't see you. I'm Sarah, the host of the Salty Canadian podcast. You want a podcast that is full of fun, rants, reviews, and just random stuff? Then this is a podcast for you. We can be found on any podcast catcher, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and have a great day. Eh?
Hey everybody, Mike here. I just want to take a second to talk to you about our Patreon we have set up at www.patreon.com/weirdshitpodcast. Basically, Patreon is a way where fans and listeners like yourselves can choose an amount every month to donate towards the show. Your donations will be put towards buying new equipment. It'll be put towards buying munchies because fucking Palmer is insatiable. It'll be put towards helping us pay our dues for hosting the show and for keeping the websites going. And honestly, the main thing it'll help us do is let me take more time to do more research on these topics. I have a full-time job. I work 60 hours a week, and then I spend 40 hours doing research for you guys because I love this show and I want to give you the best thing I possibly can. So if you have anything you want to give us, if you think we deserve anything for that work, feel free to go to Patreon and donate whatever you can. If not, man, it's cool. Like, I love every single one of you, and I'm so glad you're listening. Just share the show with whoever you think would be interested, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks.